Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. This is, as you can see by the thumbnail and the title, the most dangerous jobs in prison, and I would include county jail as well to this list. So when you are arrested, whether you're in the county, excuse me, or in prison, a lot of times for your good time, you're going to need to obtain a job and maintain it. And if, like in county, I think it's you serve at the time, anyways, you serve 3 days, you get 1 day of good time. In prison, it's either half time or 80%, 85%, depending at that time. I don't know. This may have changed since then, but you would have to have a job, whether it be in the kitchen. The kitchen's a real common one. They send you in there, wash dishes, or maybe wipe down tables, something of that sort. You could be serving food. And in the county jail, these aren't pay numbers. Like, this is just for your good time, basically. And, in the county, a lot of times you got to be a trustee in order to obtain a job. Now, as long as you don't get into trouble, you still get your good time and whatnot. But, when you get to prison, like at the time, I think a kitchen worker was getting like 9 cents an hour or something. Like, it's really nothing. But, it helps with getting a little bit of commissary at the end of the month or the beginning, whenever your draw date is, to maybe get some coffee and a few soups or something along those lines. Now, different jobs have different pay rates, and I'll try to get into that a little bit more. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, and let me know what job you had while you were in there, if you were in there. Also, share the video. It really helps us to grow. And take a look at the memberships. Click that join tab, and if that's something that interests you, then then definitely do that. Now, I recently dropped a video called "It's a Dirty Game," and for some reason that one's not really getting out. You may want to go check that one out. That's a story of 3 brothers that were on top of the world in the game, and how it all came crumbling down. So yeah, it's called "It's a Dirty Game," and be sure to check that one out. So when I hit LA County the first time, they put me in 9500, and it was a trustee dorm. So, we all wore the light green, maybe teal suits, I guess you would say. And a lot of us worked in the kitchen, or we worked somewhere in the jail, basically. Some people would work down in like inmate receiving and release, cleaning up cells, then like I worked in the kitchen that time. And, this is a real basic job. It's not necessarily dangerous, but the thing is, you could end up in, wherever you're working, and there might not be very many of your particular group. So that's where the danger could possibly come in. And also, when I was there, I was serving as the inmates would come through from the 5,000 floor, which is where the kitchen was. And you're basically in there while everybody's in there, and it's a volatile place. Like, it's been known to go up. So, just being there has a certain level of danger, Now, as you progress in prison, there's different jobs, and, like a tier tender is one. Basically, you're the runner out on the tier, and you clean up the showers, like you wipe down the tables, you sweep and mop the floors, and you also pass a lot of contraband.
and I'm not giving up any game here. This is really well known. So, but somebody may call you over to a cell. Hey, can you drop this off at cell number whatever? And, it may be a kite, it may be contraband, who knows? But, that's typically the kind of stuff that a tier tender is going to do. Now, another thing about a tier tender, though, is if somebody decides to roll it up, and what I mean by roll it up is they decide to leave the yard, that they can't be in general population anymore. If it's somebody from your organization or your group, for me, the whites, then me being out there, it's my responsibility to get off on them. Because when somebody decides that they can't program on GP anymore, or maybe, uh, maybe there's a removal been ordered and they're trying to get out ahead of it, uh, you know, action needs to be taken. And, whether it be in front of the cops or not, it is what it is. Okay, so another dangerous job is yard crew. And yard crew, basically, you're out there on the yard all day. So anytime something happens on the yard, you're right in the middle of it. And typically, being on yard crew, you're going to know right where everything's at for your group. I mean, a lot of times you're going to know that anyways, but, there's certain responsibilities that come with that as well. Just like with tier tender, if somebody rolled it up and is being removed from the yard, from a building, and you see them out there and you get word of that, then you get off on them. So, yeah, like I said, there's a certain amount of danger involved with that one as well. Uh, and, also you're going to be passing kites and stuff like that, because you have a little more access to the buildings. So, one that a lot of people wouldn't probably put on this list, but I'm going to, is being a clerk. And what I mean by being a clerk is like you're typing up the um, the write ups for inmates. So say if I get a 115, which is a rules violation, uh, say I assault an inmate, that's going to be given to the clerk, and the clerk's going to write that up. Now, what, don't sound like anything dangerous, right? But keep in mind, you're working around the cops all day. You're in the program office, and it's just not a good place to be, because people will smut you up. And if, say something happens in the building, they come, they shake the building down, they find some contraband. Well, you work with the cops. So did you tell? Maybe not. But, the last thing you want is people looking at you and asking those kind of questions. So I personally would have never took a position like that. Although there can be some benefits, because you have inside eyes on, maybe who's coming to the yard, uh, stuff like that. But yeah, last thing you want is your people questioning you about, whether your intentions are good and whether you're talking about stuff you shouldn't be. So those are some of the most dangerous jobs. The only one that I have left is the MAC rep. And if you don't know what a MAC rep is, I believe it's the Men's Advisory Council, and each race has a MAC rep. Uh, I don't know if it's each building or if it's just for the yard, but this one, I remember when I was doing time, it paid $25 a month, that was a good pay number. And typically somebody with juice within the the race that you're representing will hold this position, and they're basically the go-between from the cops to the inmates. When I was in reception, I was the MAC rep. It wasn't a paid number. I just filled the spot basically because nobody else wanted it. So I went ahead and did it. And a lot of times they would call for the MAC reps to come up to the office and they'd bring us in. And if there were issues in the building or something that the cops wanted the inmates to know, they would give it to us. Then we would filter it out to our population. Uh, and also if there was something from our side that we needed them to know, then that was also the Mac reps' responsibility as well. Now, the thing is, when they would provide us with information, you had to be very strategic in how you got to the person who was in charge, because the Mac rep isn't necessarily the person in charge, but you would take that information and, we called him the shot caller at that time. I don't know what they're doing nowadays. I don't know if it's a council or how that's working, but uh, I would come back out with the information. I would make sure to stop to three, four, five people before I got to the person that was really in authority, just so that if they were watching, I wasn't dry snitching and giving up, who the guy was, because they at that time they tried to keep that stuff secret because you could get validated and end up in the shoe over just having influence out there. So now also with the Mac rep, when if say there's a riot or something, usually the Mac reps will come out, maybe have a discussion, maybe go around to their people and see if you know the cops would have the Mac rep go around and see if the people are ready to program together again. And honestly, the answer is always, oh yeah, sure, we're ready to program together, but we're in there sharpening something up, waiting for that opportunity to come out and kick it off again. So these are some of the most dangerous jobs in prison. If I missed any, definitely drop a comment and let me know. I think I covered them pretty well. Like I said, if you're new to the channel, subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content. Also, like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs down if you didn't enjoy it. And definitely leave a comment and let me know what you think. Also, share the video, it helps to grow the channel. And take a look at those memberships. It really helps to support the channel. So, family, fitness, and freedom are the things that help me to get out of this lifestyle and not have to worry about being in these sort of situations. And they can help you as well. Uh, it's just a matter of making one good decision and compounding that. So I hope everybody's week is off to a great start, and don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.